The Wikipedia page will tell you it's known for melancholia, which is a very old word meaning a deep depression. Despite the inherent beauty of hues of red and gold leaves finding a place to rest, the opportunity of the warmer season before is lost, and the colder, greyer time is on the horizon. A season so synonymous with white the words almost look like a couple. Festivity and the thought of crunching crystal underfoot bring a hope for merriment and a bracing against elements. The winter is both homely and harsh. The season when my life found a place in this world, and as I clung to my mother, the sun seemed to cling to the ruby skyline for impossible lengths of time, like the weather itself wanted to galvanize you with its own tenacity and soul. A word originally meaning for something to crop up suddenly. The term in this context literally comes from the season's most prominent feature, flowers that spring from an emerald earth, exiting an almost literal slumber. The most prominent feature of this season, I think, a murmuring. Satoshi Tajiri was born in Tokyo in 1965. The Second World War had been over for 20 years and Japan was modernizing, but this didn't happen overnight. And while Tokyo clearly looked like a touchpoint of culture and industry, at Satoshi's age, the capital still had, and probably still has, spots that contained a lot of what made rural Japan rural Japan. Like Godzilla. Nah, I kid, of course not. It's bugs, you know? It's a story you've already heard before. Satoshi liked catching bugs. Cicada, beetles, and whatever lurked in the forests and fields of Machida, Tokyo. And as the seasons came and went and the unstoppable blur of modernization chimed throughout the city, he knew that kids one day would not get the opportunity to catch bugs like he did. So he found a way to incorporate this into another passion he'd been developing: game development. I'm skipping a few steps in his journey here, but the point that I'm setting up is that Satoshi Tajiri was probably the first person to experience Pokemon season, a call to a world full of creatures and colour. I'm making this video because I can hear the murmuring. I'm reminded of what this channel was built on and the community of friends I was once much closer to. Pokemon, to this day, has shaped a huge part of my identity. I attended tournaments, I battled and traded with friends near and far, and I even found my longest relationship through Pokemon. But as I get older, I do feel like I get further and further away from it. You're right, Duck. I never feel like I'll stop loving it, but I certainly care less year on year. Pokemon comes in waves, with the last wave being the most difficult. A huge margin of Pokemon fans have literally grown up with the games, and now as adult consumers they are primed to expect bigger and better things from a franchise that have sold them many brilliant ideas. And with sharper eyes and even sharper skepticism, people are starting to see Pokemon less as an isolated source of magic and more like other companies whose capacity for passion and wonder will only be further limited by its desire for a stronger profit margin. This is not an attack. They are called the Pokemon Company for a reason. They're not Santa Claus. They don't solely exist to pin smiles on children's faces. They're an industry built on advertising, merchandising, and one of the single strongest brand images in existence. And that's really easy to understand, but a little bit harder to hear. The rational adult in me says that it makes perfect sense, but the kid in me says that that kind of sucks ass. But it's those same adults who are so critical of the company that are also its biggest bastions. To put it as well as possible, Shofu took not he didn't just say it with his chest, he said it with his whole fucking torso. Shofu has said the games are trash.
This game is trash! This game is fucking trash, did you see that?
And yet in the same sentence, essentially, he will, with the utmost sincerity, profess his love for these games. And if you are in the thick of it, this is a very understandable position to take. There is a whole lot to love and a whole lot to criticize, but this video is not about the specifics of that or anybody else's opinion. It's about how it feels to care enough to hold the opinion in the first place. As I stated before, Pokemon comes in waves. Leading up to a big release, everyone's inner child starts getting jittery and excited. They'll drop these tiny trailers that, despite their size, it somehow ignites the community. Artists will flock to draw the new Vulpix, the competitive scene will band together to discuss Weezing's new ability, and to the average consumer, they'll just go, damn, that's pretty fucking cool. And when the games finally drop, it is like Christmas. Everyone gets to be a 10-year-old picking their starter Pokemon, exploring a region, catching new favorites, and sharing and comparing experiences. It's incredible. And then it all dies down. In comparison to more conventional JRPGs, Pokemon games are minuscule in terms of their length. 95% of the game's content will be explored in the first 3 to 5 days of release, and Cerebi will go quiet. Hear that? That's silence. A feeling that's all too familiar if you're part of this community. This year will be the 25th anniversary of Pokemon, and the Pokemon Company seems to be onto something, loosely. They don't know how to craft the perfect game yet, but they know how to really play with your nostalgia. They are in the mobile game market, their animated projects are interesting, the character design, not writing, just the design, is the best it has ever been, and Pokemon Snap 2 is the best that Pokemon has ever looked. And on a smaller note, the wild area was a pretty fucking cool idea, and to see that developed might just make the perfect game for me. There's a cascade of thoughts, opinions, and feelings. Your hopes are up and you can feel a murmuring. The calendar will inform you that you are in fact in whichever crappy day of whichever crappy month, but it's neglected to tell you what season you're in. If the community is quiet but not dead, if the last game feels like it's been out for just a little bit too long, and if all the official news sources seem a bit too quiet, you might start to feel it. There'll be rumors, speculation, leaks that are real and fake, and this unshakable idea that you might have something to look forward to. It's long. Sometimes it's a pipe dream, but maybe, just maybe, you are on your first day of Pokemon season. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching this bloody video. I wanted to take this time to thank the influx of new patrons. We have Screaming Bean, Yubi, don't know why he's here, Invid of INP, Salty EXP, ATBR or ATBR, whatever you prefer, LexiCorp UK, and Quote Cannon. I hope you guys are enjoying the direction that these videos are taking, but the next video should be like a bit more of a classic I want to talk about video. So thank you for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Here comes a brand new world, a step into a place you've never been. Here comes a brand new world, let's find a new way you've never imagined. Across the sea, beyond the sky, you can do whatever you want. Oh, oh, everything you want. Whoa, 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 oh my god.